The subway train screeched to a halt. An immaculately dressed young woman in her 30s got up from her seat. She was followed by a man who looked like he had just stepped out of a magazine cover, also in his 30s. In their arms, they carried a baby who was crying inconsolably. The couple ignored the piercing screams of the baby and kept walking without a care in the world. A few moments later, another passenger spoke up. "That baby has been crying for the last 5 minutes. It's so loud." The well-dressed man turned around, glaring at the woman. "It's your fault. You should have fed him earlier." The woman replied with a glare of her own. "I did feed him an hour ago. He's just being difficult now." The other passengers were getting annoyed. A young girl in a school uniform started to cry because she couldn't concentrate on her homework. "Can't you two keep it down? I need to study." The couple didn't seem to care about the misery they were causing everyone else. Then something happened that shocked everyone. A man stood up and walked towards them. This was a man who looked like he had seen better days. His clothes were worn, and his hair was unkempt. Everyone knew him on the subway. He was a struggling single dad who had to take the subway everywhere with his 2 kids. They called him Old Joe because he looked so much older than his 45 years. He stopped next to the crying baby and did the unthinkable. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a lollipop. He offered it to the baby. "Here, my little one, have a lollipop." The baby stopped crying and reached for the candy. Joe took the baby from the couple and started walking towards the front of the train while still holding the lollipop. "What are you doing?" the woman asked. He simply smiled and said, "This is why I carry lollipops in my pocket." After a few moments, the baby fell asleep. The rest of the journey passed without any problems. But that wasn't the end of the story. After they arrived at their destination, the man walked away with his wife and baby. But Joe stopped in his tracks. He had forgotten his wallet, and when he turned around, he saw that the stylish couple had vanished. Joe sighed. He knew that he would have to pay for his kids' dinner tonight. Again, he walked out of the subway station and onto the street, where his 2 kids were waiting for him outside. "Hey, my loves. How were your days?" Joe asked as he hugged them. "Great," they said in unison. "We had so much fun at school today." Joe beamed at his kids. They were the reason he worked so hard every day. His daughter was in high school and his son was in elementary school. Both of them were honor students, and Joe was so proud of them. He would do anything for them. If they wanted something, he would make sure they got it. But Joe didn't have enough money to give them everything they wanted. He struggled to pay the bills and often had to choose between putting food on the table and buying his kids new shoes. But Joe never complained. He had a strong work ethic and was always trying to improve his situation. Despite the financial struggles, Joe was a good father. He taught his kids the importance of honesty, hard work, and kindness. He also made sure to spend quality time with them, even if it was just playing catch in the park. One day, Joe's daughter Maria came home from school with a flyer. "Dad, I want to go to this amusement park with my friends. Can we please go?" Joe looked at the flyer. It showed a huge amusement park with roller coasters and other exciting rides. Joe knew that his daughter and her friends would have a blast if they went there, but he also knew that he couldn't afford the expensive tickets. "I'm sorry, sweetheart, but we can't go there. It's too expensive." Maria's face fell. She knew that her dad was struggling financially, but she couldn't help but feel disappointed. She wanted to go to the amusement park so badly. A few days later, Joe's son, Michael, came home from school with a flyer of his own. "Dad, my class is going on a field trip to the Science Museum. Can I go?" Joe looked at the flyer. It showed a huge science museum with all kinds of exciting exhibits. Joe knew that his son would love to go there. But again, he couldn't afford the expensive tickets. "I'm sorry, buddy, but we can't go there either. It's too expensive." Michael's face fell. He wanted to go to the Science Museum so badly. On the weekend, both kids went out with their friends. Joe was happy that they had something to look forward to, but he also knew that he would have to work extra hard to make ends meet. When his kids came home, they were both very quiet. Joe could tell that something was wrong. He sat them down and asked them what was going on. "Why are you so sad?" Maria and Michael looked at each other. Then Maria spoke up. "We both wanted to go to our places so badly. We couldn't help but feel left out. When we heard that the other kids were going, we thought we'd never get to experience those things." Joe felt terrible. He had no idea that his kids felt so bad about not being able to go on these trips. "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I wish I could give you the world, but I just can't afford it right now." Maria threw her arms around her dad. "It's okay, Dad. We understand that you're working hard to provide for us. We're just sad that we're not able to experience these things." Joe hugged his daughter tightly. He would do anything to make her happy. Suddenly, he had an idea. He let go of Maria and looked at Michael. "How about we go on an adventure together as a family? We could go camping or hiking. What do you say?" Michael's face lit up. "Really? As in the three of us?" "Of course," Joe said with a smile. "It'll be a great chance for us to bond as a family and create some unforgettable memories together." Maria and Michael jumped up and down with excitement. "Yes, yes, yes," they shouted in unison. The next day, Joe took his kids on an exciting adventure. They went hiking in the nearby mountains and set up camp for the night. Joe told stories around the campfire and taught his kids how to identify constellations in the night sky. They spent the night laughing and playing games. As Joe watched his kids play, he felt a sense of contentment. Sure, they might not have been able to go on the trips with their friends, but they were creating their own unique memories as a family. Joe realized that it wasn't about the money. It was about the time they spent together. In the end, Joe's kids didn't care that they hadn't gone to the amusement park or the science museum. They had experienced something truly special, a family adventure that they would never forget.